what I did on Tuesday after school. I didn't go home like I usually do right away, and I didn't go for a walk, and I didn't go to the supermarket, and I didn't have a play date. What I did was I went to my local public school, PS6, and voted, because there wasn't school for public schools on Tuesday, because most public schools are places where people go to vote. Now, it wasn't a very big election. We weren't electing a president, and we weren't electing a governor, we weren't electing senators or congressmen, we weren't even electing a mayor, we weren't electing city council, we weren't even electing the dog catcher. What we were electing was 8 judges. And all 8 of the judges, there was only one person running to be the judge in each of those offices. So it wasn't a very important election. So why did I bother going? Because it's one of the few ways I have of thanking America for being the amazing place it is. Let's just think about what an amazing place America is. I mean, America has the best educational system in the world. People will try to tell you, oh, America doesn't offer a very good education, et cetera, et cetera. But everybody wants to come to America to go to school. And there's a reason for that. It's because American education is the best education in the world. America keeps us safe. I was thinking I should look this up, but I'm pretty sure that the only country in the world that has yellow school buses to protect kids on their way to school and from school is America. America's a special place because we have the most amazing choices of food, the most amazing choices of clothes, the most amazing choices of where to live and how to live of any place in the world. America's an amazing place because we get to be who we want to be, and no one can tell us not to be that way. Whether we go to synagogue, or whether people go to a mosque or a church, America protects us and wants us to be exactly who we are. And America looks after the weakest and poorest and neediest people in the country. So in a lot of ways, America's a very amazing place. And there are not many ways we can show how thankful we are. So I felt it was really important for me to go and vote on Tuesday afternoon, even though there were just 4 or 5 other people voting at the time that I was voting at PS6. The only other ways I can think of that I can show my thanks to America is to pay a little bit of money to America so it can do the things that it does. I pay my taxes. I don't try to cheat on my taxes, as a lot of people sometimes do. And the other thing that I can do is obey the laws. And I can't think of any other way that I get to show my thanks to America. But there are some people who do something else to show their thanks to America. They stop their lives for a few years. Whatever their plans are, whatever they want to do when they're grown up, they stop making those plans. They leave their families. They go away and live away from their families for years. They eat lousy food. They sleep in uncomfortable beds. They do really hard work. And sometimes, many of them put themselves in a lot of danger to protect us. Those people are the soldiers and the sailors and the servicemen who serve in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and the Marines. And we have Veterans Day so that we can honor them and thank them for the sacrifices they make for America and for each of us.
Good morning. My name is Noah Siegel. I'm 27 years old and I'm a veteran of the Iraq War. I actually grew up a few blocks away from here on West 96th Street, so it's kind of my old neighborhood. And I went to, after high school, I went to college at the University of Wisconsin on an Army ROTC scholarship. And what that does is you get to go to school, go to regular college, but when you finish college, you become an officer in the military. After college, and I did a few months of training in Virginia, and then I was stationed at Fort Hood, Texas, and that's where I was stationed for the 4.5 years that I was on active duty. And during that time, I deployed to Iraq twice, once from July 2007 to September 2008, and then again from September 2009 to June of last year, so for a total of about 2 years. And I left active duty about a year ago, and I'm as a captain, and I'm just finishing up my last few months of my obligation to the Army and the New Jersey National Guard. I live in New Jersey now. Why I chose to serve, I think I come from a family that's mostly musicians and artists. Anybody who knows my father, who's sitting in the back, Jonathan Siegel, he's more representative of most people choose to do careers in my family, so I'm sort of the black sheep. But I've always been interested in history, especially military history, and I like to look at the photos that my grandfather, who was a World War II veteran, had, and listen to some of his stories. And I wanted to be a part of that, and be a part of something greater than myself. And also, just when you're young, you want to go and experience adventures and things like that. So I probably watched a few too many war movies, but in reality, I think the real reason that I wanted to serve was because of people like my grandfather, people like Mr. Lassiter next to me, veterans who served before me and really set the example. And I think Veterans Day is important. I think it's great that your school is recognizing Veterans Day. A lot of, most schools don't have off for Veterans Day for one thing, or really recognize it. If some of you have been studying about it, it's originally in 1919 it was called Armistice Day, a year after the end of World War I, and then later became known as Veterans Day. But I think it's important to recognize those who serve, not because they're special, but because they're veterans are people just like all of you, the normal people who have been often been in extraordinary circumstances, and the ones, especially the ones that came back wounded, either physically or psychologically, and then especially those who didn't come back at all. I think it's important to remember them. So I thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be here and speak to you today, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Lassiter.